les amis. Bienvenue à Paris. Welcome to Paris. Trying to bring a little bit of Christmas cheer to you. I know you will recognize this location. Could someone confirm the sound is okay, even though it's a pretty loud area? Bonsoir, bonsoir. That would be lovely. Already 100 of you. That's wonderful. We are looking at the magnificent Arc de Triomphe. At the top of the Champs-Elysées, you see the big French flag flying in the middle. Of course, it's currently closed, like most museums and landmarks in France. It might reopen on December 15th. We're waiting to hear from President Macron to see if the museums can reopen. But I thought I would start here at the top of the Champs-Elysées, give you a little bit of Parisian ambiance in its most magnificent way, a little bit different from the neighborhood we've been to lately. The traffic doesn't ease up. It's now 6 p.m. in Paris. You can see a lot of cars, and indeed the square is famous for it. Look at them go. I am literally in the middle of the avenue. Usually I am one of the people standing on the sides looking at the crazy tourists doing what I'm doing. So I thought I would start like this today. Let's see if I can take you. Pardon, monsieur? I'm gonna try and take you to the other side. Pardon. Woo! Did you see that? So you can kind of get a glimpse too of the Champs-Elysées going down towards the Louvre Museum. Crazy atmosphere, always loud. I am actually surprised at the number of people on the sidewalks. The stores are open and it's almost Christmas, so that makes sense. I'm going to wait for these cars to go and then I'll cross and start walking down the Champs-Elysées for you. Welcome. I see we already have 200 people watching. Bienvenue, bonjour. As always, not trying to ignore you, but while I live stream, I like to focus on what's around me and what I want to tell you. Here we go. They're going to start. Watch the race. The Champs-Elysées is such an important part in Parisian and French life. Whenever France celebrates a big victory in terms of sports, they will come here. You saw that for the soccer when we won the Soccer World Cup in 1998 and in 2018. And of course, the Tour de France arrives on the Champs-Elysées at the end of July. But it's also a place that has seen a lot of historic events, including right where I'm standing now, walking down towards the Louvre in a straight line there, the General de Gaulle, Charles de Gaulle, in August of 1944 for the liberation of Paris. And then the big military parade. I think we can go now, it seems safe. Yay, we survived. Maybe those tourists are onto something after all. So let's get one last peek at the Arc de Triomphe because it's so magnificent from here when it's all lit up like this. So yes, an avenue that really plays a big part in French life. Look at that. So typically it gets busy at Christmas because we have a Christmas market further down, but this year a lot of the Christmas markets have been cancelled, including the one on the Champs-Elysées. So I'm surprised to see people here tonight. Isn't that beautiful? Now you may know that this arch, this triumphal arch, was commissioned by Napoleon I to celebrate his army after one of his major victories, probably his biggest victory in Austerlitz in 1805. And in 1806, he decided he wanted a triumphal arch so his soldiers could walk under it. He stepped down and died before it was completed. But about 20 years later, it was finally inaugurated. Actually, more like 30 years later. I think it was 1836. And several political leaders, several French leaders have worked on this place. This big square that used to be called L'Étoile, the star, because of the 12 avenues that are connected to it. And these avenues are all named after either Napoleon victories or the names of famous French officers, or Victor Hugo has one of the avenues dedicated to him. I'm trying to stay away from connection issues here, but now the square is known as de Gaulle. Let's try. I'm going to walk in this direction because I can see the signal is weaker here. One of the reasons to come to the Champs-Elysées, I think, is to go up the Arc de Triomphe. Not only there's a beautiful restaurant in there, one of the gastronomic restaurants in the Champs-Elysées area. You find it all here. You find fast food places, French and international ones. You also find some gastronomic restaurants, though most of them will tend to be at the bottom of the Champs-Elysées as you get closer to the Place de la Concorde and the Louvre. Look at the beautiful trees, all lit up in red. Very Christmassy. Thank you to the Champs-Elysées for still putting on a show in this extraordinary year. Now, this may surprise you, but Parisians are not that fond of the Champs-Elysées, and I am one of them. I don't come here very often. This place is usually, you'll see people working in the neighborhood during the week, and then on the weekends you will see a lot of tourists here. So this is one of those neighborhoods in Paris that's really suffered this year and has been quieter than usual. I'd like to turn around and show you what the Dior fashion house has done here. What do you think of that? Thank you for joining me today. I am going to share a little bit about the history of the Champs-Elysées. I am having connection issues. I hope it's good. Good for you. Good thing I checked earlier. Now the Champs-Elysées, this avenue was actually born at the very beginning of the 17th century. The French queen named Mary de Medici, she had come from Italy. After her husband's death, her husband was Henry IV, she still lived in the Tuileries Palace, right next to the Louvre. The king who worked a lot on the Champs-Elysées was Louis XIV, with his master gardener and landscaper, André Le Nôtre, who did so much work on so many chateaux in France, including Versailles, and on the Champs-Elysées as well. And then the successive French leaders, kings, emperors, of course, added something to it. Napoleon III, you hear his name a lot on my live stream strolls as we walk around Paris. Napoleon III, during, especially the area around the Arc de Triomphe. Jacques Chirac, when meeting the Champs-Elysées, I guess. And the city of Paris is aware of that and is trying to change that. And they have some things planned. We'll see what they come up with. Look at the Louis Vuitton store. This is one of the most recognized I noticed the cell signal gets bad when a lot of people are congregated, probably using Instagram. Here is something. I am sorry the connection is so bad. I checked everything before I came here, but of course when you live stream, anything can happen. I will keep on filming because I have some beautiful sights to show you. I am hoping Facebook in the replay will capture most of this, so you can. And we are back again. I am really sorry about the quality, the bad quality of this broadcast. It's very frustrating for me, and I know it must be frustrating for you as well. Still walking along the Champs-Elysées and quite disappointed at the connection problems, as I'm sure you are. Yes, patience is a virtue, but it makes storytelling complicated when you have to pause every 5 minutes. And you know how much I love telling stories. Movie theaters, there are quite a few along this place, and in fact, it was always a great place to come and watch movies in VO. Version originale, original version, or in English for me. You could always come to the Champs-Elysées when I lived here in the 80s to see movies in their original language. The French have the habit of dubbing a lot of movies, and I always wanted to see movies in their. I was hoping that the place would be almost empty, actually. That might have helped with cell coverage today. But no, everybody's out here live streaming, playing on Instagram. In case you don't know me, my name is Véronique. My friends call me Véro. I am a Paris-based multitasker, tour guide, long-time travel blogger, French language instructor. It will be 10 years in December this month that I've been sharing content in social media, Facebook mostly, about Paris and France. And I did that even when I lived in Seattle in the United States for 2 decades. So it is my blog's 10-year anniversary this year. I'm very proud of that. I've added live streaming in the last few months to the ways I share content. But I also enjoy doing guided video tours. I might actually have to redo this one as a guided video tour. Then I won't have to worry about connection issues. All right, we come upon here a beautiful place, l'Avenue Montaigne. The avenue known as Montaigne. 2 words could sum it up: elegance and luxury. If you are a big fashion house, a big designer house, you have to have a store here. Christian Dior worked on the street. In the 19th century, you had a lot of private mansions, those hôtels particuliers we've talked a lot about before. And they line this beautiful avenue like those trees, which are linden trees. And it's worth a visit, certainly. There is a beautiful hotel a little farther up, a palace, I should say, the Plaza Athénée. I happen to know that this little post here is the best spot to see the street without getting run over, so I'm going to go and hide behind it so you enjoy this beautiful sight of the trees. Thank you for the messages. I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, if you're late, no worries, because we've had some connection issues. Here we are at the rond-point des Champs-Elysées, the roundabout of the Champs-Elysées. André Le Nôtre designed it in the 17th century. It's been here forever. And he also designed the beautiful gardens you cannot see on both sides of the avenue, the right and the left over there. There have been fountains here for a really long time, but these fountains are brand new. They were set up in 2019, and like many new things in Paris, are very controversial. So they kind of spin around very slowly, and they're made of copper and also some crystals, Swarovski crystals, which the Maison Swarovski has designed especially because they need to be able to live outdoors. So the fountains turn around. You can see this one moving, can't you? So you've always seen fountains here, really. This roundabout has seen a lot of changes. At certain points in time, there were sculptures here and statues, and then they were taken down and replaced. But the fountains had been quiet for many, many years when they set these up last year. So it's kind of nice to have the sound of water again. I stepped away from the crowd a little bit, so it looks like that's helped with the signal. So let's pan here to show you the roundabout. Le rond-point des Champs-Elysées, which is also the name of a metro station. Crazy traffic, as you might expect. If you want to see crazy traffic, climb the 300 stairs to the top of the Arc de Triomphe and look down at what happens around La Place Charles de Gaulle. It's the best free show in Paris. Not to mention, like I said earlier, you can see the Eiffel Tower as if you could touch it from up there. Another reason to go up the Arc de Triomphe is that you understand what the style that Napoleon III and Baron Haussmann introduced in Paris in the second half of the 19th century, when they modernized the city and turned Paris into this beautiful city that we all know. And from the top of the Arc de Triomphe, you can really see the perfect symmetry of the buildings and the avenues. That's a great place to understand the Haussmannian style and what was done at that point. So I just gave you 3 good reasons to go up the Arc de Triomphe if you come to the Champs-Elysées. And you have to stroll, I suppose, up and down the Champs-Elysées at least once in your life. That's something you have to do. I know, maybe you can even afford shopping on the Champs-Elysées. The shops are very expensive. One last peek at those pretty fountains. The Arc de Triomphe is also a great building in itself, isn't it? It says a lot about France's military victories. Even if you didn't go all the way up to the top floor, you would be able to learn. The tomb of the Unknown Soldier has been there since 1921. And for the 100th anniversary next year, they're going to do something special, I believe. We are now looking down the Champs-Elysées. And in the distance, I see, I'm not sure you can see it, but the obelisk, Place de la Concorde and the obelisk. And right behind that would be the Tuileries Gardens and, of course, the Louvre. So in this section, if it was daytime, you could really see the beautiful gardens on the left and on the right side of the Champs-Elysées that André Le Nôtre designed. This is a place that's very important for Parisian nightlife. We have many theaters around here that have been here forever. And Parisians like to come to this part of the Champs-Elysées, but more at nighttime to see shows. In fact, one of those theaters is right here in the dark, behind those trees. Le Théâtre du Rond-Point, you can barely see it now. And that other building next to it, we're going to talk about in a minute, it's le Grand Palais. So from 19th century Paris, the Champs-Elysées, that section we just walked along, where elegant Parisians used to come in their carriages, to the tea rooms that were there. La Durée, we walked past it, was not there quite yet. La Durée was in another location by the Madeleine Church. But there were other fancy tea rooms and patisseries where the beautiful society of Paris, especially the ladies, would come. So it was quite the elegant place. But now we're headed to another section of the Champs-Elysées. A section that was born later for a big event in Paris, the 1900 World Fair. So again, the Champs-Élysées just keep going. They keep going all the way to the Place de la Concorde. But I'm going to make a right very soon because I'd like to show you a few more things. Thank you for those of you who stayed with me in spite of the connection issues. In fact, this is a great site here of the side of Le Grand Palais. I will tell you a little more about it in a second. It's right here. What I'll do is I'll give you one last peek at the Champs-Élysées. I'm glad you're enjoying the stroll. You see? You can kind of see the obelisk in the distance. It's shining. It's not quite blue, it's purple. Do you see it? I'm trying not to get my arm pulled out by a bicycle. This is one of the many new bike lanes we have in Paris. They're everywhere. You really have to be careful when you cross the street now. And I'm going to do one last pan of the Champs-Élysées looking west towards the Arc de Triomphe and the crazy traffic. And you thought Paris was quiet. This is Paris on a Sunday evening at 7 p.m. almost. I wonder where they're all going. Crazy. I was here 2 days ago and it was a lot quieter because it was raining. Those banners say Joyeuse fête, happy holidays. That's how the French say that. And usually the Christmas market would start right around there. And so it'd be really busy in that section. But not this year, unfortunately. All the cities have cut back on Christmas markets, and if they do them, they're much smaller. You know, for social distancing and all that. Now, we have three statesmen, two French ones, one English one, honored in this corner of Paris. We have the Général de Gaulle, Charles de Gaulle. This is a massive statue that was added actually pretty recently in the 1990s. De Gaulle had made it clear before he died he didn't want any honors. He was buried in a very private ceremony. He didn't want any statues. So his family was very reluctant to have this done, but they finally gave in and the statue was erected. And this is de Gaulle marching down the Champs-Élysées in August of 1944 during the liberation of Paris. It's quite pretty because in the background you see the Grand Palais. Now the Grand Palais is one of two buildings that were erected for the World Fair of 1900. This is the Petit Palais over there. It picture in their place another building much older that had been here since another World Fair. in the 19th century. They finally took that building down, and for the World Fair of 1900, which was supposed to be bigger and better than anything else, they built those two structures here. I want to show you the gentleman. It's a little far, but by these flags over there, you see another statue. You see it over there? This is Georges Clemenceau. Clemenceau, his nickname was the Tiger. And he was another great French statesman, who, a patriot, who trained to be a doctor and later became a journalist and a politician, and worked his way up all the ranks to end up leading France through World War I. I just finished reading a great book about Georges Clemenceau and his friendship with painter Claude Monet. They were best friends for many, many years. And without Georges Clemenceau's help and support, I don't think we would have seen the nymphéas, which are known as the water lilies, at the Orangerie Museum, because Monet was getting very discouraged. He was sick at the end of his life, and Clemenceau was the one urging him to finish his work and found the building for him. And Monet approved of the building, and finally the water lilies arrived at the Orangerie, where they have been since, though the building has been updated several times. So that's an interesting fact about Georges Clemenceau, who is a lot more than a politician. Now, of all the Paris museums, I have favorites among the large museums, and I have favorites among the smaller museums. This one is not as small as it seems. I love Le Petit Palais. Many people do as well once they know it. It's a free museum. It's part of the Paris Musée network. The building itself is spectacular. Even if you didn't look at any of the paintings or sculptures inside, you would still be fascinated with this building. The pretty garden inside, the cafe there. But they also have a lot of exhibits. One of the best exhibits I ever saw here a few years ago was the one dedicated to Paris in 1900. And it was very fitting in this neighborhood, since both the Petit Palais and the Grand Palais right here were built for that World Fair in 1900. Now, you've probably heard the rumors. You can see the construction on the Grand Palais has started. This building is one of a handful in Paris that has never been given a complete renovation. And it's starting to really show its age. In terms of security, etc., they were having big issues. And it's the Petit Palais is the Museum of Fine Arts, but the Grand Palais was built as a tribute to the glory of French art, they called it. And it's been used a lot as an exhibition place. But it's in need of a lot of TLC. So it will close in 2021, I believe in February, and it will not reopen to the public until 2025, which is a really long time. Though it's supposed to be able to house some of the events related to the Olympic Games of 2024. It's going to be such a long time that they are setting up a temporary Grand Palais so they can keep having a lot of events there. And it's going to be on the Champs de Mars, right by the Eiffel Tower. And if you took that live stream walk with me this summer when I went from the Trocadero to the Eiffel Tower, I showed you that new structure they were erecting there. Now we need to pause and look at this. Le Petit Palais in all of its glory. There is something in there for everyone. Whether you love architecture, whether you love art. This is a really special place in Paris. I hope you can come and visit it. The exhibitions are really worth it. You have to pay extra for the exhibition, but the museum, like I said, is free. And as to our friend Le Grand Palais, that has already seen so much. Now, I don't know if you know this, but before the liberation of Paris in August of 1944, there was a lot of heavy fighting here between the Free French forces and Parisians and the Germans. And it almost burned down. So that this building has seen a lot. And I think it deserves a little bit of tender loving care, which is it's about to get. And I hope you've been in it once at least to see this glorious glass and steel dome inside. I believe it's the largest one in Europe. See how much quieter it gets when you step off the Champs-Elysées? It's nice. And lo and behold, no more connection issues. Fewer cell phones around. I said we had 3 statesmen around here earlier. We saw Charles de Gaulle, we saw Georges Clemenceau, aka the Tiger, and we are now going to see another great statesman, though his homeland was not France, it was England. And since we are on the avenue named after him, I think I should pause and show Sir Winston Churchill to you. He's hiding behind a tree right now, being a little shy, which is not like him. There he is. Do you see him across the street from me? Right there. Sir Winston Churchill. Let's see, can I go this way or should I walk around? Probably walk around this. And our last stop is coming up soon. I promise to give you Parisian vibes, and you will be getting Parisian vibes. Especially since you've put up with the connection issues tonight. Now, because I'm not very organized and I've been working hard at creating content for social media every day and for my club members, I haven't come up with anything to promote at Christmas time. A book, t-shirts, a calendar. I have none of that. The best way to support me and my creative endeavors and to allow me to continue sharing content in social media like this is to join the club Friends with Véro Club. We are just a few members away from 400 members in less than 9 months, and I'm just so proud of that. So I want to thank all these wonderful people, as well as my students, who have enabled me to turn what was essentially my favorite hobby for the last 10 years into a business and to pay the bills. So if you want to see more of Paris and France and join more exclusive events, I encourage you to look me up on Patreon at patreon.com/FrenchGirlInSeattle. For as little as the cost of a glass of wine a month, you can get a lot more Paris and a lot more France in your inbox every week. Next Sunday, I will be meeting some club members for our monthly event, Conversations with Véro, where we discuss a travel topic. And in the next few days, they'll be enjoying a special publication in French, because I do that as well, since I'm a French language instructor, and they will be able to practice their French. As well as a special stroll I filmed just for them from Montmartre to the 17th arrondissement, just this coming week. So as you can see, I am quite generous with content, and I encourage you to look me up. And now, pause. We are on the beautiful, probably the most ornate, most beautiful bridge in Paris. It is known as the Alexander III Bridge. And it has a very interesting story, this bridge. It was built as well for the World Fair of 1900. But there were other reasons to build it. One of them was that across from us, this beautiful dome you may recognize, Les Invalides, the military hospital, Louis XIV, the Sun King, built for his crippled soldiers. It's still a working hospital today for veterans. And Napoleon I is buried under that dome over there. Well, at the time, they needed an extra bridge. The bridges on either side of us were not enough to carry all the extra traffic they expected at the World Fair. They had just opened a new train station as well at Les Invalides. So they had to build one more bridge. And a reason to do it here and to name it Alexander III was to strengthen the ties between France and Russia, to celebrate French-Russian friendship. And the first stone of this bridge was laid by Alexander III's son, Nicholas II, who came here right before 1900. And that's when they started building this bridge. And I hear it's the second most requested site in Paris by newlyweds for their photos after the Eiffel Tower. Well, no wonder. It's just beautiful. I mean, it's massive. From a technological standpoint, it was a feat, really, because they wanted just one arch above the Seine, and they wanted the bridge to remain very flat so that you could see the Grand Palais on this side, and then on the other side, you know, Paris is all about straight lines and perspectives. On the other side, you had to be able to see Les Invalides right there. So technologically, it was really hard to do. Quite an achievement for French engineers. And the decor, the sculptures, those candelabras are world famous. You get a little closer. Bikes on the sidewalks, yes, of course. And this is why we came here. I wanted you to say a little hello to Mademoiselle Eiffel, because I know many of you have missed her. There she is. The bridge on the right is Le Pont des Invalides. I can see all the little hearts. I know, isn't she pretty? There she is. See, that's the reward for those of you who stuck with me tonight, in spite of technical challenges. Merci beaucoup. I'll come back to her one more time, don't worry. Look, I just want you to see the perspective of these candelabras. I think that's what they're called in English. In French, it's candelabres, so I think it's the same. Look at that. Perspective. Paris is all about perspectives. This city does that really, really well. Closer look at the Seine. It rained a lot this week, but fortunately for us, the rain has now stopped. Look at her. Look at her do the Eiffel Tower thing. Now remember, the Eiffel Tower was built for another World Fair in 1889 for the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. So she predates the buildings we've just seen, Le Grand Palais, Le Petit Palais, and this bridge. You would not know it though. She's still looking pretty good. I don't know if I'm the best, but I work hard. I work hard to make you happy and to share Paris and France. I'm going to take down my mask for a few seconds so I can say hello to you. There's nobody around, it's perfectly fine. And maybe I should turn around actually so you can see. Can we do this? Voila!
Véro, and the Eiffel Tower. So for those of you who don't know me, this is what I look like when I don't have a face mask on. It's a little chilly, that's why I'm wearing my favorite hat. Yay! So I hope you've enjoyed this stroll that tried to provide some holiday cheer on the Champs-Elysées in spite of connection issues. But a lot of you came back, so thank you for that. Thank you for being patient. I'm not sure I'll do another one next week because I'm working on several projects. And I'm meeting my patrons, my club members on Sunday, so I'll be busy next weekend. But I'll manage to pop in. If you've enjoyed the stroll and would like to tip the tour guide, tips are gratefully accepted at in my virtual tip jar. The information, like everything else, will be in this video notes. As soon as I come off the air, Facebook will share the replay and all the information about the tip jar, about joining the club on Patreon, all of it will be there. And if not, just reach out to me and I will give you that information. So thank you very much in advance. If I don't see some of you before Christmas, thank you for following my adventures now and always, because some of you have been around with me, have been here for a long time. And I want to say I really appreciate that. And Joyeux Noël, my friends. Enjoy the holidays. I know it's a bit of an exceptional year, but make the best of it, like I did tonight. Just get it done. Just go through all the hurdles and keep moving. Just keep doing it. That is what you do. Merci beaucoup. I will see you soon. À bientôt. Okay, one last peek at the tower instead of my face. Probably better. Voila. Best way to end this, don't you think? Paris, the Seine River, le Pont des Invalides, and Mademoiselle est faite. Joyeux Noël, friends and club members. I will see you very soon on Zoom. À bientôt.